So, I don't usually film videos like this, but I, like a lot of the nation, have become obsessed with the Traitors, so I thought I would share some of my thoughts and opinions on the semi-final. So, I'm going to read my notes because, as I said, I'm invested and have notes. Surely, if the faithful have watched the show before, they'd be able to assume that there are at least 2 traitors going into the final. As if Ross was the second to last traitor, the remaining traitor would then be forced to recruit that night. As most people would choose to be recruited rather than murdered, it's safe to assume that any recruitment would be successful at that point. On top of that, there would still be a murder even if a recruitment had taken place, because at that point, when we're down to the final traitor and recruiting another one, they still do a murder that night. So this means that Zach's murder in the semi-final doesn't rule out the possibility of there being a recruitment. They also didn't banish a traitor last night, voting out Jasmine, so again, that highlights that 2 traitors most likely remain. So, tomorrow in the final, if Evie gets banished at the round table and reveals she's a faithful, they're all going to be then forced to look at each other because she was the only one that was now suspicious because she didn't know about Harry's shield. That might cause chaos and people to start to look at Harry because, I don't know, I feel like, especially for like Jazz, he's now going to be looking at Harry like, okay, so you faked her a murder then. Because, yeah, the 2 people that didn't know about the shield will now be out of the game, making Harry look suspicious. I mean, ideally, I don't want Evie to be banished, because I want the 3 faithful to win, and I want the 2 traitors to be banished. I don't know. Just love them figuring it out. And I feel like Jazz is basically nearly there with his theory. He doesn't trust Harry. Don't know how he feels about Andrew, but I'm sure they'd get him out too. But yeah, if Evie gets banished and then reveals she's a faithful, I think that will backfire a bit on Harry, because then it makes him look suspicious. And that means that Harry's fake murder can no longer be used to point at who the traitor is, because that's what's been happening the whole time. It happened in the quarterfinal. Evie and Jasmine were just going at each other, both thinking each other were traitors because they both didn't know about Harry's shield. But if Evie then goes and stands up and says, I'm a faithful, then that sort of eliminates Harry's murder attempt as a indication as to who the traitor is, because all the people that didn't know are now out of the game. So yeah, again, it's going to make Harry look very suspicious, I think. So I think there's a pretty good chance the faithful will win, but I don't know, Harry has played a pretty smart game. So I think this means that Harry doesn't really have any other option than to gun for Andrew, his fellow traitor, because his fake murder can't be used to point fingers at who the traitor might be. If Harry's able to banish Andrew, and then it's him, Evie, Molly and Jazz that remain in the final, and they remember that there's most likely still 2 traitors, then the fingers are highly likely to be then pointed at Evie because she didn't know about the shield and, yeah, could have tried to murder Harry. It's another way it could possibly go, but who knows? I guess anything could happen.